بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. First and foremost, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us all to go down the path of doing Hifz in the Quran. As for people that are only memorized one ayah, two ayahs, people who have memorized a few surahs, people who are Huffaz of the Quran, their Hifz journey never ends. It's something that you take with you into the grave, and inshallah, it benefits us all on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Secondly, Jazakumullah khairan for all those that are attending this orientation. So without further ado, we'll begin the orientation. Firstly, this program is called the Guided Hifz program, specifically because unlike normal Hifz programs, where you just or online programs where you just sign up and you just one-on-one and you don't exactly know where you're going. This program will tell you exactly what to do, how to do, how many days you need to come, what you need to memorize. And we'll discuss all those details, inshallah. We'll move forward, inshallah. Disclaimer that all policies, terms, rules, and procedures or information mentioned in this presentation may change upon the approval of CJIIS Administration and Board of Ulama. Meaning rules could change, right? We might mention something here, it could change later. In case any major changes happen, we'll make sure, inshallah, that everyone's emailed or we send out some updates regarding those changes, inshallah. Okay, inshallah, I'll have Hafez Uzair take over from here.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, welcome to all the students. May Allah Ta'ala bless you all. So, mashallah, Mufti Sahib mentioned about the importance of Hifz. So, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala says in the Quran, Inna إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون. Indeed, it is we who sent down the Quran, and indeed we will be its guardian. Allah mentioned that we will protect the Quran. So the question is that how Allah will protect the Quran is through you people. It's the people who will memorize Quran. So you all are very lucky people which is chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to memorize the Quran. And you all should be proud of that. At the same time, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best, Usman radiallahu anhu narrates that the Holy Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the best of you is the one who learned the Quran and taught it. So now at the same time, the one who is teaching the Quran and the one who is learning the Quran, both are among the best people according to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
All right, inshallah. So, Jazakallah khairan, Hafez Uzair. Inshallah, I'll discuss some of the general. So inshallah, me and Hafez Uzair will keep going back and forth. I'll discuss certain things. Hafez Uzair will discuss other things, inshallah. So I'll take over from here. So first, let's go over the schedule for today, so everyone knows exactly what's going on. 10 to 10:05, we were just, we initially just waited on a few people. It seems like they were having a bit of difficulty joining. Even now, there's still people trying to join. So that's what was going on in the beginning. Then we're gonna, inshallah, well, me and I guess Hafiz already have started speaking, but we'll go through some more introductions as well later, inshallah. Then we're going to go through the policies related to the program, different resources that we have available for the students, some rules, Then there's a section on Chromebooks and online resources. Chromebooks are specifically for children who are underneath the age of 18. We'll discuss the details relating to that. That doesn't apply to any of the adults, so they can take their chai break at that time. Then we'll go over just some basic details about Muntazim, which is the platform we use for all tuition payments. Then the structure of the entire program and the requirements that are needed to graduate from the program, and then, or we just might as well go with the structure in general. Then the tips for some tips from myself and Hafiz Uzair, being teachers of Quran for quite a while, just for all the students, just so they have an idea of things that they should be doing and things that they can apply into their Hifz journey, inshallah. And then we'll have a short Q&A if time permits. If time permits, we'll have a short Q&A, inshallah. Though if it goes too over, then we'll just kind of leave that off. So firstly, just an introduction to all the teachers that will be there. So lead of the entire program is Hafiz Muhammad Uzair. And mashallah, he's been teaching Quran for a number of years. He's a very good teacher, mashallah. He's very passionate about his teaching. And he comes from a family of many, many other Huffaz within his own family. So there you can see he's growing up in a culture of just Hifz, mashallah. Some teachers, inshallah, will post if anyone would like to know the details of all these teachers and some more background information, they can go to our website. And we have a link to about the team, the CJIIS team, and under there will be a section about guided Hifz. You can see the names of all the teachers and their things, including the teachers for the sisters and the brothers. There's Mufti Muhammad Harun, Tabi Maulana Adnan Ahmad, Hafiz Bilal Ahmad, Hafiz Muhammad Habib, and Hafiz Ahmad Habib. And then the sisters have their own teachers as well. Again, people can go online and look up see the section where it says about our team, and they'll see information about that, inshallah. So moving forward. Okay, so some program resources. So there's a few things available to all of the students. Firstly, there's a program catalog. We sent it out to all the students that were accepted. That has the structure of the program, the dress code, attendance, absences, policies. We will discuss all of that here anyway. But nonetheless, that's all in there. The year calendar, we sent that as well. That's also available on our website. You can go under resources on the top and then go down to the year calendars and pick specifically the one that says for guided Hifz. The holiday revision schedule, we'll go over what that exactly means later, inshallah. A separate policy specifically for sisters, that was emailed out to the sisters as well. That we're not going to discuss here, but the sisters will know what that is. That was in their email. We're going to discuss the Sabaq app, which there's a whole, when we get to it, I'll show everyone what that is, what that means, a little demo of it so people know what's going on, inshallah. Communication for the app will be sent once all students are assigned teachers, inshallah. So as far as I'll go over how to use the app, as far as how to access the app, and when will you see your information on the app. That will send via email once all the students have been assigned to teachers, inshallah. Okay, inshallah, I'll give it over to Hafiz there.
Ji, Jazakallah khair. So the basic policies, attendance and absences. We know that in Hifz, it's really important to be consistent. If you want to become a Hafiz, consistency is important. So we have some rules about that. Students are expected to attend all class sessions. It's important, it's mandatory that every student should attend all the classes. Any student with more than 4 unexcused absences per term may risk dismissal from the program. So more than 4 unexcused absences are not allowed. It can result in a dismissal from the program. It's important to attend all the classes. Absences due to illness or bereavement will be excused. For example, if you are sick, if you are not able to take the class, that can be excused. absences due to vacation will be unexcused. So if you are in a vacation is not permitted, you should take your classes regularly. Excessive excuse absences may be subject to evaluation by the CJIS Board of Ulama. So if a student is making lots of excuses, then the committee of the CJIIS board will take the decision. So it's important to take classes regularly. Now, what are the student responsibility regarding absences? The student must inform the program lead of absences beforehand, not the day of. In case of sudden illness, the student must inform the program lead as soon as possible. So everybody, if they need absences, they should contact me before their holidays. It's important, even though if it is sudden, so then you can contact me as well. But it's important to inform the program lead, which is myself, before the absences. One day, on days when a student is unable to attend class due to any reason, he or she is still expected to review the Quran. Remember, the holiday should be from the class, not from the reciting Quran. So if you are not able to attend the class, you should recite Quran mass with yourself. In case the student does not have strength to review himself or herself, like during the illness, he or she must review by listening to an audio recording of the Quran. First of all, you should take the class. So, for example, if you are not able to take class, you should recite with yourself. And if you are not even able to recite with yourself, then you have to listen to any online Quran, online Qari, online like Manshawi or any other teacher. You should listen. It's important.
Okay, inshallah. Next thing is the policies for the uniform. Uh, it's online, but there's still a uniform policy. That's what the title is trying to tell you here. Sayyidina Abu Uthman al-Nahdi rahimahullah said, Sayyid Tabi'i, because Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anh sent us a letter in which he said, hold fast to the address of your forefather, Sayyidina Ismail alayhi salam. This is in a book called Sahih Abu Awana, book of Hadith. So the main thing is that we are studying the Quran and we have to maintain a level of etiquette. There are many, many incidents of the pious ulama in the past that when they maintain levels of etiquette, not in front of the Quran, actually in front of anything related to deen. It could be something as simple as just any book that was talking about deen, even if they didn't have any Quran or Hadith in it. It could be a book of fiqh, could be a book of aqidah, whatever. Whenever they showed adab, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took a lot of work from them. And here we're talking about the Quran, right? You're reading the Quran, you're sitting in front of the Quran, you're sitting in front of a teacher who knows the Quran. So because of that, we have a uniform policy. So for brothers, whenever you come to any of the classes, you must be wearing, brothers meaning any children and adults both, there's no exception there. You must be wearing any sort of jubba, jalabiya, thobe, or some sort of qamis, inshallah. Have a kufi, topi, qalansu, or whatever you want to call it. Have one of those on as well on your head. And that's pretty much it. It's no heavy policy, not too many things going on there, but just those two things. Preferably white, but it's not necessary. Right? Preferably white, but it's not necessary. Meaning it could be another color as well, as long as you have a jubba or thobe or qamis on. For sisters, we'll talk about the camera policy later. For sisters, they need a loose abaya or qamis on. Need something that's very loose, nothing that's like tight in any way. Headscarf, meaning hijab, khimar, dupatta, something that covers your hair, right? Something that covers your hair and is big enough to reach all the way down to your stomach area. There should be a big headscarf on there, not a very short one that's just around your neck, but something that goes a bit more down, and have some loose abaya on as well during the class time. Again, this is to maintain adab for the Quran and in a way to try to imitate Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and the Sahabas and the wives of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam to the best of our extent when we're studying something as great as the Quran. Next is the webcam policy. All students are required to have their webcams enabled throughout each class session. We do not record any of the classes. This is just for while the class is going on, the webcam is on. Obviously, we're trying to maintain some sort of number one is an interaction, but number two is that it's Quran, you gotta make sure we can see the students and what's going on. The instructor reserves the right to adjust the student's seating to ensure clear visibility of the student, especially pertaining to younger children, right? They're not sitting properly, they're halfway out of the camera, they're sitting in a way where it looks like they may have a Quran underneath, they can tell them to move. Female students ages 10 plus are not required to have their webcams on. That means any female students that are age 10 or above, being 10, 11, 12, 13, 20, 30, 50, 60, whatever it may be, they are not required to have their webcams on. But female students that are below the age of 10, they have to have their webcams on. People are coming in there. Last is sitting in the sunnah matter during class. There's a hadith in the Sahih Imam Muslim rahimahullah, where it's called the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is in the masjid and someone walks in and the Sahaba see this person walking in and they see that this person, no one recognizes him, so he's foreign, but he's completely clean clothes, black hair, looks like no sign of dirt on him at all, doesn't even look like he traveled from anywhere. Then he goes and sits right in front of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the position of tashahhud. He sits in the position of tashahhud. And that hadith is what many ulama use to extract the etiquettes of how a student and teacher should sit. Why? Because right after that, that person obviously was Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam, who came in a human form. Right after that, he goes to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, after he's sitting down at the tashahhud position in front of him, he puts his hand on his knee and then asks him, different questions about what is Islam, what is Iman, what is Ihsan, and tell me about the sign of the Day of Judgment. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam responds. So they said this entire exchange was to teach the ummah about etiquette of teachers and student as well. So accordingly, that's why we have this slide. It is most befitting for a student of the Quran to imitate the way of Rasulullah and the Sahaba radiyallahu majma'in, especially during class. And in this case, this way of Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam. Therefore, it is recommended, it's not mandatory, of course, it's recommended for all students to sit on the ground during class, if that is possible for you. But if you have a little desk that you can put on the ground, if anyone wants, they can contact us. We can give you some links too about different desks you can purchase that you could stow away nicely too. You just keep that out during Quran class, and so that you're sitting actually on the floor to imitate Sayyidina Jibreel alayhi salam and Sayyidina Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and pretty much the entire legacy of all of the ulama in the past. This practice aligns with the sunnah and can foster a more focused and reverent learning environment. It'll give the students a feel that, oh, now I'm actually going into class. You're wearing your jubba, you're wearing your topi, you're ready, you're like, you're sitting on the floor. Like, it gives you that class feeling. And we want to create that even though it's through online. Right, inshallah, let me just quickly, you'll see me pause randomly because people are coming in. So inshallah, okay. So let's move forward from there. Okay, inshallah, I'll give it to Hafez Uzair.
Jazakallah khair. So during this program, we have some holidays. So the guided Hifz program will not be in session for the federal holiday, all federal holidays, the 2 Eids, winter break, spring break, and a short summer break. For more information regarding the academic schedule, you may refer to the calendar at the following link. Also, I sent all the selected student has been sent a schedule sheet where you can see that when we will have holidays, inshallah. So holiday revision schedule daily. Remember one thing, students, that when we were doing Hifz, we were taught by the teacher that when you have holiday only from the class, not from the Quran. So during holiday, you have to revise it. You have to continue your revision. If you miss the revision even one day, it can affect you for the next 40 days. So doing revision with yourself is important, and you can do it every time, like when you're driving, when you're walking, morning time, you're just walking, just revise with yourself with focus. So that's important. So we have some schedule for the students during the holidays, how they should recite and how you should recite the Quran with yourself. So for the student who memorize up to 5 juz, they should revise half juz of sabaqi and 1 juz of manzil every day. For the students who memorize up to 10 juz, they should revise 1 juz sabaqi every day and 1.25 juz manzil every day. You can see in diagram as well. For the students who memorize 15 juz, they should recite 5 quarters, which is 1.25 juz sabaqi, and at the same time 1.5 juz manzil every day. For the students who memorize up to 20 juz, they should revise the same, which is 5 quarters sabaqi and 1.5 juz manzil. For the students who memorize 25 juz, they should recite 1.5 juz sabaqi and 1.75, which is 7 quarters manzil every day. And for the students who are hafiz, they should revise half juz sabaqi and 2 juz manzil every day. So this is the schedule, and every student has to follow it, and it will help you a lot, inshallah. Next. So students holiday revision chart. So when you are given the holidays, you have to fill this chart. All students must use the chart below to record their Hifz revision during breaks. All students must send a picture of this chart to, to their teacher every night by 11 p.m. So you can see, when you are given the holidays, also you will be provided this chart, and you have to fill this chart daily. You can see on the top there is date, sabaqi, then sabaqi revision duration, which can be in hours or minutes, manzil, and manzil revision duration, which can be hours or minutes. So for example, if see, so for example, if there is a day, you should write the day, then you revise the sabaqi, write down your time, how much time it takes. Similarly, the manzil and their time. And every day before 11 p.m., every student should must send it to the dedicated teacher. See, next.
Okay, inshallah. Next is the academic dismissal policy. So I'll go through that, inshallah. Okay, so the way this works is that this is another kind of a difference between our program and other programs. Normally, if you have another online teacher, online something, uh, you're pretty much the boss, and that's it. Right? You tell the teacher, I'm going to be here this time. I'm not going to be here this time. Oh, I can't come today. I'll have to stop for a month. So this is not like that. So anyone who's getting into this program, please keep this in mind. That right here, students who are unable to keep up with the classes will be placed on a 1-month probation. If their progress does not improve within that duration, they will be removed from the program. Because the Hifz is serious. Can't expect to do Hifz and then miss days, go on vacations, go on holidays, not revise, not come to classes. That's impractical. It's very impractical. You're setting yourself up to for a disaster. So that's why we have this policy. Academic dismissal is solely due to academic or administrative reasons, not behavioral reasons. Behavioral reasons mainly apply to little kids, younger kids, the ones who are below 18. We'll discuss those inshallah right after this. But academic dismissal will happen if someone is not keeping up to the actual program's expectations. The expectations are gradual. If you know very little Quran, your expectations are very minimal, extremely minimal. But as you go higher and higher, 2 juz, 3 juz, 5 juz, 10 juz, 15 juz, you have to keep up to a certain level. Yes, there might be students who say, you know what, I have now memorized 10 juz. That was my goal. Now I want to just, in this program, I just want to do revision of these 10 juz. Right now, I don't think I can go any further. That's fine. Then we'll just have you do a revision. Just stay on the 10 juz level of a student. Just keep you there. So your juz stay really, really strong. And when you want to make the leap to go a bit further, we'll take you. But if you are someone is saying that, yeah, okay, you get to like 15 juz, 20 juz, and you're giving half the time that we need, then we'll tell you, look, you need to give this much time and be there for this much class, these many classes, otherwise it's just not doable. Or if someone's a Hafiz and I do revision of my entire Quran, then we're going to give it to you accordingly. In the beginning, it will be little, but it will gradually increase. And if you cannot keep up with it, we're going to tell you that this is your max. Either you have to increase your time, be more consistent, otherwise things are not working out. So you have to be a bit more consistent. I'll talk about a bit more about consistency later, inshallah. The following will result in probation and or academic dismissal. Number one, more than 4 absences. If you have more than 4 unexcused absences within a term, right now we've divided into 3 terms. Later on, we'll probably do semesters and chess instead. The first term is all the way till the end of January, right? End of January, November, December, January. Yeah, end of January. Then the second term will be all the way till right before Ramadan or into Ramadan, all right till the end of Ramadan. And then the last term is going to be till the end of August. So those are the 3 terms right now. Then after that, we'll probably move on to like a semester-based schedule, inshallah. So that's one reason why you may be dismissed if you have too many unexcused absences. Number 2 is incomplete goals, non-completing the assigned goals for 3 consecutive classes. We give you goals based on your level. It's not like someone's coming in fresh, new. I want to memorize Quran, and we're like, okay, by next class, memorize 5 pages. I'm not going to do that. We'll start, okay, do 1 line, and there's 1 line for the next class. We'll see how you do. Adjust it to 2 lines. Can't handle it. Okay, we'll adjust it. But if someone's assigned a goal and they clearly were negligent, and they did not complete that goal simply because, oh, well, I had to go and there was I know I had to go to a party or, this and that. That's not going to work out too well because the problem is that doesn't work for Hifz. That can work for other academic subjects. It does not work for Hifz. If you want to do Hifz, there's standard you have to keep. Number 3, tuition, failing to keep up with tuition for 2 or more months within 1 academic year. Can you miss tuition 1 month? You forgot. That makes sense. But then there's 2 months go by, you still haven't made tuition. 3 months go by, you still not. So then that's something. People who have a habit of not paying tuition, I would highly recommend in Muntazim, inshallah, when we discuss it, you set up auto payment instead. Then you don't have to go through this process of constantly, failing to make tuition payments. Lack of environment. All students are expected to have some sort of an environment for Hifz when they're in class. Failure to maintain a class environment during class time, right? There are different examples given here. There are people constantly talking in the back, or someone's repeatedly not having a headset or having a non-working headset. Every time you come to class, oh, my headphone's not working. Oh, it's not working. It's been 3 weeks and it's like, I'm getting it. But the problem is when you don't use a headphone, it will result in us being able to hear everything in the background. Regular interference from siblings or children. There's a kid, he's taking class, there's like, some 10-year-old, and the place you put him, every few minutes we see another one of his brothers coming in and pushing him, bothering him, making faces in the back. So again, that's not an environment. So that could be another grounds for academic dismissal. We'll communicate it to you beforehand that these are the issues, and if they don't get fixed, then we'll work with it. Exceptions are made for students in excruciating circumstances upon review by the program lead. Yeah, there are people in extraordinary circumstances. For example, you might have some students where they only have 1 room free, or like they only have like 2 rooms and there's like 4 or 5 siblings at the same time. So sometimes things may happen, or maybe there's a mother and she has multiple children to take care of, and in the middle sometimes one child is crying, the other child is crying, they have to move. Sometimes they have to like take class in a weird place where they have to watch the kid or put her to sleep, or those things can happen. That's fine, right? We'll work with that, right? We'll work with life circumstances, but what we're not going to work with is what do you call it? Interference for absolutely no reason. You could clearly sit here instead of there. You clearly could have just simply locked the doors or closed the door where siblings can't come in, or you could have told that sibling, hey, don't go in there during this class time. So there's things that are excusable, than the things that are not. So an environment has to be maintained, and that's part of the Hifz journey. If the environment is not there, the student will not take it seriously. All students are placed on academic probation during their first term of the program. All students by default, every single new student that's coming in. That means everyone here, right? Congratulations, everyone's on probation. So that's mainly because the first term is to test out the student. Some people, they sign up for a program, but then we'll tell them that, you know what, your life circumstances are such where at this point in time, you can't commit to this. Or maybe you can commit to just doing, maybe a Hafiz signed up and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna revise my whole Quran. And after a month, we see that like he's missing already missed 3 classes. He's too busy with life, too busy with college, and his priorities aren't really set yet. He has a full-time job, plus he's going to full-time college, and it's just not working out. So we'll tell him, you know what, maybe wait out a few months. Right now, like come try later, right? When your life works out. So first term is always a testing term for the student because we don't know if they can. I think the students sometimes don't even know if they can keep up. So that's why it's on both sides, it's like a test. If the program lead finds a student not to be fit for the CJIIS program, the student won't be dismissed from the program. That's straightforward. We realize that okay, this person has this goal in mind, but their life circumstances don't make sense as of right now. And we'll tell them, once your priorities are set and your life kind of balances out, then you can come back and join again, inshallah, and then we'll work from there. Disciplinary policy. This is okay. The following few slides are just for students that are below the age of 18. So for all the parents sitting here whose children are going to be in the program, I would advise paying very close attention to what I'm about to say. All participants here who are actually the participants and applicants of the program, and you're above the age of 18, you can kind of relax right now because this has nothing to do with you. You can take a little drink of water, inshallah. Not that many slides, but it's quite a number of slides. So I'm going to try to go through it quickly, but it'll take a bit of time. Okay, so this policy only applies to students below the age of 18. It has nothing to do with anyone above the age of 18. So the objective of this policy is to maintain a positive and conducive learning environment for all students. The objective is not to punish students and or their parents, but to teach student responsibility. Tarbiyah. Pretty much that line is saying we're trying to teach tarbiyah. And I understand it's an online program, but that doesn't mean doesn't mean the teacher is still not the teacher. And that doesn't mean the school is still not a school. That means we still have to be strict on everything, parent side and the teacher side. Okay, some quick definitions. Parents who are familiar with our advanced full-time Hifz program, they'll kind of know what I'm already talking about, except this is just going to take place more through an online area as opposed to in person. So again, this is only for children, right? This is only for applicants who are children, not for adults. So minor infraction is a low-level incident that does not significantly disrupt the environment. So for example, if there's a child taking class and he does things like touching the laptop screen, the teacher will have him sit a bit back, but if he ends up still touching a laptop screen, doesn't complete his daily lessons, going to other tabs, that class is going on, and you clearly see he went to another tab. Like it's pretty obvious, right? You can see the tune is touching the laptop. Or talking or moving away from the seating area without permission. So these are minor things, right? These are minor things the student may be doing. All of these things are just little tiny things here and there the student is doing that's taking him away from the class or distracting him. So these are called minor infractions. Major infractions, a serious offense that adversely affects the learning environment. For example, inappropriate language, this child uses bad language. Gross insubordination, that means the teacher tells the child that, hey, do this, and he says, no, I'm not doing it. So that's called gross insubordination. Cheating, right? We find out that the child had the Quran underneath, or something along those lines, that there was another sibling on the side showing him what the answer is, or there was as surprising as this may sound, it's a reality, or there's a parent on the side whispering the answers to them. That has happened. So all these things, right? These are, and then closing the screen, tab, camera, or laptop, not accidentally. Accidentally may happen, right? The student had to adjust the mic or the volume and accidentally it closed off. That's okay, that can happen. But if it happened out of anger, respite, or frustration, right? That the teacher told him, no, go back to the previous ayah, right? And read from there. And the student gets mad and he goes and he just shuts the laptop off. So that'll be a major problem, right? That's a major infraction. Third one is severe infractions. That's multiple instances of major infractions or repeated unruly behavior, meaning the major ones keep happening over and over and over again, or just the child is just not behaving properly. Like the whole time he's sitting in class, he's just not reading. He's like, no, I'm not reading. No, he's just sitting there pouting. And so that's considered a severe infraction. So the minor, major, and severe. Now, what is that? So these are definitions. Now we're going to go through what does all that mean, right? Consequences, right? That's the main thing. So if a student does minor things, minor infractions, consequences, they'll just be in-class consequences at the instructor's discretion. They'll just be in class related. Maybe that's the instructor might tell him, hey, move back, don't touch the camera, don't touch the laptop, or the instructor might tell him, okay, I'm giving you a warning right now that don't do this again. Now I'm just giving you your final warning, don't do this again. Something like that is in class. During class time, the instructor will just give consequences. Parents will not be contacted for minor stuff. We're not going to send a message to the parents every single time the child touches a laptop, goes on another tab. That's minor, right? It's minor things, right? Like the instructor will just tell the child what to do and that or give consequences accordingly, normally in the form of warnings or something. And that's it. The major infraction. Consequences would be an online detention. What that means is the child will have to come outside of his normal class timings and sit in front of a teacher, which may not be his own teacher. It may be some other random teacher that he does not know, but he'll have to sit online during that time with his Quran just reading. And not allowed to recite anything, he just sits there reading. And there may be a meeting with the instructor or the program lead or referral to the CJIIS board, depends on how bad the situation is. So it might just be a detention, you might have to have a meeting with the instructor or the lead of the program. We'll see depending on the situation. Parents will always be contacted and the incident will be documented. So if major things are happening, then yes, we will contact the parents and there'll be an email sent, your child has been very unruly, behavior has been very off, this and that. So all that stuff. So those are major issues. Severe infractions, consequences, suspension, probation, or expulsion from the program. So if there's severe infractions, like the child is really angry and close the laptop over and over, or every class he says, I don't care, I'm not doing anything, I'm not listening to you. That type of stuff, right? That's severe. That would mean we'll suspend the child from the program, which will affect his Hifz. That's number one, right? If you're suspended from doing Hifz classes, your Hifz is going to get tarnished and messed up very fast. Probation means that they will not be allowed to, they may be able to come back to class, but if there's anything happens, any sort of infraction happens after that, it may lead to being removed from the program. Parents will always be contacted and the incident will be documented. Obviously, if major infractions are documenting things and severe infractions are definitely documenting things. The reason is so that the parents are always up to date on what's happening. They know what's going on. They know the whole process before we make any decisions. Sequence of consequences. If any student ends up getting 3 detentions, automatically they will be suspended. So if they did 3 major things and then they got 3 detentions already, then that means the 3rd detention will result in automatically them being temporarily suspended from the program. After the first suspension, students are placed on an automatic probation for a month. After they receive their first suspension, students will have to, when they come back, they'll have 1 month to get their behavior straight. If they don't, then a second suspension is given. After the second suspension, students are placed on an automatic probation for the remaining duration of the current term or basically for the whole year, right? For the whole 1 full year, that students after the second suspension, they for the whole year now, like they have to get their act straight. If they don't, then they are removed from the program, right? Removed from the program. Removal from the program means that you are no longer allowed to apply for the program. Right? It's not like you get removed now and you're like the next term you sign up again. They can't do that. Right? The only way we'll take a student back is somehow if they've proven without any shadow of a doubt that their behavior has significantly changed, which is very tough to prove unless something major happened, like it's been 5-6 years and this child has become baligh now and something like that, then okay, but otherwise they're basically out of the program. The final decision will be made by the CJIIS Board of Ulama in consultation with the guide his program lead. This is why we document everything. We're going to first document everything, see everything that's happened, all the email exchanges with the parents, and see what led to this. Again, this is for tarbiyah, right? We're not doing this with the intention that, hey, let's knock out every student. That's not the point. Additional notes, repeated minor infractions may escalate to major infractions. Yes, if a child keeps touching the tab, touching the laptop, touching the screen, touching things, that will automatically escalate to a major infraction. Meaning that will automatically result in a detention instead. If he keeps doing small things over and over, keeps moving out of his spot, keeps touching the laptop, keeps doing those tiny things, it will be a major thing. Major infractions are automatic detentions, as we already discussed. Severe major action infractions are automatic suspensions. We already discussed that. Suspensions and expulsions are issued by the board. The teacher who's teaching the student does not give suspensions or expulsions. They only give detention. But if they gave a third one, then the issue is brought up to the board and then, or to the Hifz lead, and then the student will be suspended accordingly. We are strict with that. That's why there's zero tolerance for attempts to interfere in the disciplinary process. That's not, again, everything I'm talking about here is for children, right? It's not for adults. But we have no tolerance for anyone trying to interfere. Meaning if your child is being suspended and we get an email or one of our board members receives an email, oh, can you do something about it? That'll make it worse. Right? It won't make it better. We don't like any sort of interference at all with our disciplinary process. That's why we have communication every step of the way. Okay. Then finally, this is a lot of stuff. Right? Finally, this is just like a good quick summary. If a student receives 2 parent contacts, and after that, if you have to contact the parents twice or more about a certain issue, then automatically the student will receive a detention. If he's already received 2 detentions, if he receives the third one, he'll get suspension and then temporarily on probation. If he does that again, it's suspension again, and then permanent probation till the end of the year. And if stuff continues, then it'll be expulsion and automatic suspension. That's what's going to happen. And oof, alhamdulillah. Okay, that's that part. I still have to talk a lot before Hafez comes back. But nonetheless, so those are our policies related to academic dismissal and for behavior and all of those related things. Moving forward. Oh, one point I wanted to make. In one of the earlier slides, Hafez talked about Sapri and Manzil. In case anyone's wondering, we are going to discuss what is Sabak Sapri Manzil soon, inshallah. So no one needs to worry about that. Okay, online resources. This is also for children under the age of 18. I think all adults are like, oh, okay, so we're just, okay. So we can just, they've been relaxing for a while. Inshallah, we'll get to you guys, don't worry. For all children under the age of 18, Chromebooks are required for all students under the age of 18. We do not issue Chromebooks, right? We will not issue a Chromebook, right? The students themselves, their parents must purchase a Chromebook themselves. You can try to find a cheap one, used one, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter as long as it's a Chromebook. If you have an old Windows computer lying around and you're doing absolutely nothing with it, Google up something called, I believe, the Chrome Flex program. Something, I think that's what the name is, Chrome Flex or something. What that does is it allows you to convert your Windows computer into a Chromebook. Right? It allows you to convert your Windows computer into a Chromebook. So that's another option some parents can take as well. If you don't want to actually go out and purchase anything separately. Chromebooks, by the way, are normally like, don't get anything too expensive there, unless you're really planning to use it very long term. No need to splurge on a Chromebook. It's okay. I would say minimum specs, keep it at least 4 gigabytes of RAM, at least 4 gigs of RAM minimum. Don't go 2 gig RAM, that's too little. 4 gigs of RAM at least. Screen size, keep it at least 14 inches. They have 11-inch, but that's too tiny. So 4 gig RAM and 14 inches at least screen. That thing, as long as those 2 things are there, it's okay. Then get any used Chromebook, whatever it may be. The Chromebook must be under CJIIS management. Enrollment details are already sent. We already sent details about what that means, how to do that. Inshallah, we'll be making, for all the students under the ate of 18, we are going to be making every single one of them CJIIS accounts. Meaning they're going to have an email. Let's just say if the student's name was Khalid Ismail, it'll be kismail@cjiis.org. They're going to have an email with a password. Technically, that's a Gmail account, right? They can go to Gmail and log into through that. Nonetheless, I will make an account for them, inshallah, and then we'll send the details. Why do we have our Chromebook? Right? Why do we do that? Because Chromebooks are limited to the CJIIS account only. When they open that Chromebook, the only accounts that will work on that Chromebook are going to be the CJIIS guided Hifz, accounts. Or the technically CJIIS accounts in general. No other accounts will actually work on those Chromebooks. It's just that if they have a Gmail, they can't use their Gmail to log into their account. It won't work. The parents have their email, they can't log in either. No one can log into anything except the CJIIS.org accounts. That's it. Nothing else is going to work on those Chromebooks. Number 2 is the account itself, once they log in, is limited to very few websites and only meant for use with the guided Hifz program. When they log in, they're going to see there's going to be a tab open up for guided Hifz. That tab is going to have the list of all of their, like, little icons with all the teachers' classrooms, and they can click that and go into the teachers' classrooms directly. There's a little Hifz tester thing. There's the whole the catalog for the Hifz program. All of that is there. So, but it's limited to be precise, it's limited to no website. There's no website at all basically that work on there except like 5. Right? Nothing works on there. Everything is blocked off. So they can't go to any website. They can't go to Quran.com and possibly cheat. They can't go to any YouTube. They can't download any Quran app that will allow them to look at the Quran. They basically can't do anything on the Chromebook that will either distract them or allow them to cheat in any single way. Problem is when students use other computers, we don't know. Sometimes the parents might not be there. They might go to a dawat or something. They might be going out somewhere, and the child might open up before the class, the child might open up a tab, right, with the Quran on there and zoom out a lot so you can see all the pages at once, or some big PDF and make it into 6 pages. And now the child can see the whole Quran and all the pages he's reciting and cheat on his sabaq taqim, all of that. We want to prevent all of that. That's why we have our Chromebooks mandatory. So the Chromebooks are limited. Almost nothing works. There's no Google search. There's no YouTube. There's nothing, right? Nothing works on there. There's no Google Assistant. There's even the dinosaur game. When the internet is off, that's blocked too. Nothing works, right? Nothing works on there. So very few things work on the actual Chromebooks once set up. Requests for unblocking specific website apps or websites will not be accepted. Just letting everyone know, no, we are not going to unblock any websites or any apps at all, except the ones related to the CJIIS program. Later on, we may make exceptions for certain things but for now, for this first term, we're not taking any requests as of right now. If one of your other children are enrolled in another Hifz program, like if there's a child who has a Chromebook and he's enrolled into our full-time Hifz program, for example, and they already have a Chromebook that's under CJIIS' control, yeah, that can be used technically. They can use that one for the other child's classes. That's okay. That's not a big deal. Right? Because then technically they have a Chromebook under CJIIS control anyway. But the only difference is then that child must log in through their CJIIS account, not through the sibling's account. So that's fine if you already have a Chromebook under CJIIS control. CJIIS will release control once a student completes and/or withdraws from the program. Yeah, so if you invest in a Chromebook and the child is, and then we take control of it, it's not permanent. Once the student is, mashallah, inshallah, becomes a hafiz of the Quran and then leaves, or they just withdraw from the program. They realize, you know what, this is not working out. We'll release our control of the Chromebook, right? The whole Chromebook will reset and it will be like brand new, and you can put in whatever accounts you want on there, use it whatever else you want. The parents can use it for their accounts, whatever it is. Right? We'll release the control, right? We'll release the control once the student is out of the CJIIS program. So they don't need to worry about that. You can use it for yourself later. But during the term when they're using they're under the CJIIS program, it will be under our control. Lastly, the Sabaq app. Right, Sabaq app. Sabaq app is used for monitoring the Hifz progress. Of course, we need to know, teachers need to know, our lead, Hafez Uzair, he needs to know exactly how every student is doing along the way. Are they doing well? What are they doing? How much are they reciting? How many goals have they reached? So every student, whether, will have their information and their data logged into our app. Sabaq app is, for those people not familiar, Sabaq app is an app that the CJIIS itself created for monitoring Hifz progress. And we're actively working on it, updating it. I believe these few months, right, from September all the way till inshallah January, are the months where we're really upgrading the app quite a lot. We're heavily right now investing our time into just upgrading the app quite. So, and then over the next few months, you'll see that there'll be several new features being added one after another. So we use that to monitor his progress. Students that are above 18, you have to make an account on sabaq.io to see updates. Parents may make an account. So basically, if you are an applicant, if you are the applicant and you're above the age of 18, you'll have to go to sabaq.io and make an account, right? You'll have to go to sabaq.io and make an account. Now, there's 2 ways to make an account. I will show you very soon, inshallah. Method 1 is you go to sabaq.io and you go to the register account, register and or make an account. I think there's something it says there, and you do that way. Don't do it right now. Or underneath it says sign in with Google, right? That's the faster way, right? You just click the sign in with Google button and just click your normal Google account, whichever one you use normally, and it'll automatically just make you an account. A screen will pop up saying, confirm your details, your name and your email, and press complete, and then you're done. You have an account. Then the next step would be just letting us know what is the email you used or what is the account that you used so that we can associated with your class and all that stuff. So children who are in the program who are below the age of 18, their parents have to do that, right? The parents have to go and make an account for themselves. If they already have an account, you don't need to. So if there are parents who already have a sabak.io account for another child in this program, you do not need to do anything. We'll simply add on the other child into the sabak app and you'll see it pop up. Okay, so you don't need to do anything. If parents already have a Sabak account and you already have children in one of our programs, you don't need to worry about it. We'll just automatically add the other child into your thing, and you'll automatically see that child pop up on your app. But if you haven't made a Sabak.io account, then you have to make it and let us know what is the account name or the email. Mainly, we need to know what the email is. Students below 18, parents must make an account to see your child's progress. The same thing I mentioned above, right? The parents need an account to see your child's progress, obviously. There's no such thing as student accounts, right? Student accounts don't exist. That's done on our end, and there are no emails associated with student, meaning the children who are in the program who are below the age of 18, they don't make any accounts. There's no such thing as a student account in the app. There's student data that the app uses, and the parents will see all the students' data, but those students themselves don't have an account they can use to see their data. It has to go through the parent. In this situation, we have it where people above the age of 18 are applicants. So on our end, we'll make their student data, and on their end, they're going to be connected to the app as a parent, seeing their own information. So inshallah, don't worry about it. But the main thing is if you're above 18 or you are a parent of a child in this program, make sure you have a sabak.io account, and I'll go through it soon, inshallah. Current features of the app, there's daily tracking, live updates, overview of past lessons, reporting. Inshallah, we're working on all of that and adding a lot of other things. Very quickly, what I wanted to do was I just wanted to show a very quick demo of the actual app so everyone knows how it works, just so we don't get hounded with emails later about I don't know how this thing works. I'm going to, inshallah, share my screen and show you how the app works, inshallah. So let's go here. So we're temporarily going to go off of the slides. Okay, inshallah. So this is the main screen. If you go to sabak.io, right, ignore the slash schools there, that's there, right? If you go to sabak.io, this is the screen you'll see. There is an Android app and there is an iPhone app, by the way. You don't, I'm using that. You can go online, right? You can use this too, but like there is an Android and iPhone app. I'm going to make the screen smaller because it looks that's how the app is going to look like on your phone. So it'll be easier to understand what's going on. So there is an Android and iPhone app too, right? So you could just download it, go to the App Store, Play Store, whatever it is, and just go to just Sabak, search up Sabak, or if you still can't find it, search up Sabak CJIIS, and you'll find it for sure. So what we'll have, so here you can actually make an account, go to register from the top there. So don't have an account, register, or you can just click sign in with Google and use your own account. So I'm just going to sign in to my own account, which is already registered anyway, but I'll just sign in, inshallah. Oh, wait, what's happening here? Okay, there we go. I'll just go to the parent tab because that's so anyway, when you sign into your account, this is not the screen you're going to see the first time. First time, whoever signs in, you're going to see some screen telling you to confirm your account information, your name and your email. After you click complete, then you'll see this screen. Mine has a teacher version of it too, but that's just because I'm a teacher as well. But normally you'll see that yours will only have parent, right? You'll only say parent tab. Students who are above the age of 18, yeah, yours is gonna have you're gonna use a parent. I know you're a student, right? I know you're a student, but you're gonna have to use the parent version to see your own data. What's happening is we're gonna add you as a student on our end, and then associate your account as a parent to your account as a student. We're gonna connect those two together. Then you'll see your own information. So after that, then that would, okay. So then on the bottom here, there's this account tab, and you can edit your information, your name and email, whatever it is. Or you can go to, this is the main screen, right? Recitations, right? Recitations. What I'm showing here is like, then after this point forward, right? After this point forward, every time you open the app, this is the screen that is going to open up every single time. So whenever you access the app, you're going to see the screen now. So whenever you're on your phone, you open up the app, this is the default screen you're going to see. Not your account screen, you're going to see the recitation screen. So what's going to happen here is that participants coming in. Yeah, so I just have to regularly adjust, inshallah, as we go through. Okay, there we go. Okay. So this is the screen you'll see. Let's just assume your name is Jabir Ismail. Let's just work with that, right? Then I'll explain what the other name is. Let's just assume your name is Jabir Ismail. So you'll log in and you'll be on the parent app and stuff, and then you'll see your recitation. Then you can see everything you've done. Okay, this is just a fake account. This is not, there's no student in the school called Jabir Ismail. So here what's happening, right? You go scroll up and down. Like let's just go here, right? So it says Friday, November 1st on the bottom, and it shows Sabaq, Sabqi, and Manzil. We'll go through what that means. Right, so very quickly you can just see, right? You can see, oh, what did he recite? Okay, Surah Talaq, ayah 1 to 5, and this bar here shows you around where it was in the juz. So you can see this blue part represents what part was recited. So it shows that, okay, he's somewhere around the last quarter of the juz. And there's a comment here too saying, mashallah, very good, right underneath it, under comments. Sabqi here, it says, okay, he did Surah Mujad Talaq, and the bar shows, oh, okay, looks like he did the first, little bit more than the first 3 quarters. Says, oh, Surah Mumtahina, the comment, Surah Mumtahina needs to be reviewed. Then the teacher is saying that, okay, Surah Mumtahina is a bit weak. And it shows Manzil, 3 mistakes, 2 tajweed mistakes, said the whole 29 juz. There's a comment there, tomorrow he must do the 30th juz. And then the same thing with Saturday, comment very good, large improvement from yesterday. And then there's a Sunday. I mean, this is all like, obviously, not real data. Now, if someone wants to see all the data a bit more easily, they could always, on the bottom, there's this magnifying glass. You can make it smaller, and then you can see it more easily. Obviously, as the days increase, you'll see more dates, right? You could scroll down to more dates if that was the case. Right now, this is just a fake account. I just put in information for a few days. If there are more days, you could see more information, right? And you could see it very fast. You just scroll up and down and see how your progress has been. Or you can make it really big if you want to see everything really clearly, right? I mean, some people, they have a hard time seeing. So for them, they can increase this size to full. So it's easier for them to see the screen. So that helps out those adults that have, need glasses and stuff to see. They can just make this full size and they can kind of see all the main information. The mistakes and the part they recited, the bar is very clear and easy to see. If they recited multiple things, you could just, scroll to the side and it'll show you everything. I'm doing this through a computer, but so it's not as smooth, but nonetheless. And let's go back to the mid size. So that's that. The last thing is on the top right here, you'll see that there's a little bar thing. If you click these 3 bars on the top right, it goes to the screen. This is our reporting page, and this is the one screen that is going to get updated the most, inshallah, over the next few months. We're going to add a lot of things to this one page. Right now, it looks very textish, right? So inshallah, we're upgrading the screen quite a lot over the next few months. There'll be a lot more going on here, inshallah. Anyway, for now, what's going on here? It shows that, okay, the student, right now shows the current month, right? The current month. In this case, November, shows in this month, the student recited past 3 times. He recited a total of 0.2 juz, right? 0.2 juz. For example, here, Manzil, it says he's passed twice. Average mistakes he's received is about 3 per day, 3 per session, 3 per assignment. He gets about average of 3 mistakes. The read mistakes he receives about average of 2 per assignment. How much manzil has he recited since the beginning of November? It says 2 juz. Sabqi here, same thing, all that same information. It says total juz recited. So for example, if it's like November 25th, you go to the screen, you can see, right? Oh, how much sabaq have I done this whole month, right? Like how much Quran have I actually memorized? And it'll show you, oh, total juz recited. Oh, I've done about, 0.5. MashaAllah, I've done half a juz. So you can quickly see all of that information. If you want to see how much manzil you revised this month, you could see, oh, mashallah, I revised 25 juz. I mean, it's not mashallah, it's a good, you can see all this information. So this is the reporting page. We are going to mess with this quite a lot. We're going to add a lot of information onto this page, change it up. And inshallah, our goal is hopefully add a lot more new features. One feature we're trying to heavily work on is a ranking feature, meaning all the students are going to be ranked. There'll be a ranking page, top 100 students. Right? And it'll show how every student is doing compared to other students in and outside of CJIIS. Right? That's the most interesting part. It'll rank you between different schools as well. We're working on that. Last thing I wanted to show was that what if there are parents that have multiple children? So on this same screen, you would actually see 2 students, right? So here it says Jabir Ismail. If you're a parent and you yourself have multiple children, right? I mean, you're not the applicant. You yourself are a mother or a father, and you have multiple children in our program or programs. This app works through multiple programs. Hypothetically speaking, if there's a child who's in our full-time Hifz program, and there's another child that's in the guided Hifz program, and then for some reason there's another child in some other program we make up later for Hifz later on. And on top of that, let's just say your child is in another school, part of their Hifz program, and they're using the Sabaq app there. I mean, it's a completely different school, not connected to us, but they're using the Sabaq app for their school, under their school management, their school administration. You're gonna see that child pop up here too, automatically. So you can across schools, all your children will be on one place. They all show up right over here. So anyway, so there's no like setting to go, okay, now let me choose the other school. No, you'll see all of your children in one place. Okay, so here if you had multiple children, for example, Jabir Ismail, and you had another child named Khalid Ismail. So all you have to do is either you can swipe, right? You can either swipe or you can just click the name, right? I mean, I'm clicking for me, I'm on a computer, but if you're on a phone, you can just swipe, right? Okay, I didn't really have much information for this person. But same thing, right? That's Sabak, Sapni, Manzil, and looks like this child is not doing so well. Yellow means it's incomplete. Red means he didn't pass at all. It says very weak, especially 27 juz. That's the comment on the bottom. You know, like let's see more clearly. You could see right here. It says, like, oh, oh, I forgot to mention, you could click it too, right? If you click it, it just becomes bigger. And then you could see it, in case you want to see more information clearly. If you click any of these things, it becomes larger, and then you can see it more clearly like that. If you click this here, you can see it in big things. So like here, the comment is didn't finish assignment. So it's incomplete, right? It says incomplete. It's in yellow. It says it didn't finish it, meaning like the time ran out or something, or he had to go somewhere, so the teacher just put it incomplete. And then if you need to switch back to your other child, just very quickly swipe, swipe, swipe. That's all you need to do, just swipe, right? That's all. And then automatically you go to the other child's information very, very fast. And same thing, if you go to this child, same thing, he has his reports right here. You can go to the first child, he has his reports, right over here, and that's about it. So that's the Sabaq app. We worked a lot on this app. Alhamdulillah, we've gotten from where we were initially with the app to where we've gotten to now. It's a big difference. Inshallah, we're bringing in a lot more changes to that app over time. Okay, so now, inshallah, I want to go back to the actual slides. We spent quite a lot of time on the app. Okay, so back to the slides. So we were talking about the app. That was just an overview of how the app works. Now let's move forward, inshallah. Last thing, not last thing, it's definitely not the last thing. Muntazim, right? What is Muntazim? Muntazim is the platform we will be using, inshallah, for a few just very administrative stuff. It's by the makers of Mohid, right? By the makers of Mohid. If you go to a masjid and you see that tablet thing there on the wall, says donate now or something, and then so Mohids are most likely it's by Mohid. There are other platforms available too, but Mohid is the most popular one that's available right now. So what do we use Mohit for? We use it for onboarding. Inshallah, you will receive an email after the program is done. You will receive an email on how to onboard to the guided Hifz program, what link to use. There's a whole video. There's a whole video that shows you exactly what to do. The video will tell you, okay, yeah, like you go here and then enter this information here. Don't forget to put this here. There'll be arrows and there'll be circles, and like it's very self-explanatory. There'll be a whole video for people who are having difficulty. I'll show you how to onboard, inshallah. We use it also for tuition payments. Students that already have accounts on our already have a Muntazim account, that does not mean you'll automatically see guided Hifz. That's a separate school you have to sign up for, meaning you still have to sign up separately for that school, inshallah. Important, username is not your email. If you sign up to Muntazim for the first time, you will get an email that'll actually tell you your login information. The user ID is not your email. If my email is khalidismail@gmail.com and I use that to sign up to Muntazim, that is not my username. They'll probably send me in the email from Muntazim, it will say, oh, this is your login name. And it will show it'll probably say Khalid_Ismail or something like that, but it won't be my Gmail. My email is not my username. Log information is found in the email from Muntazim. Once you register and all that stuff, you'll see you'll get information from Muntazim, inshallah. Okay, alhamdulillah. So inshallah, now I can take a break. I will hand it over to Hafiz Uzair.
Ji, Jazakallah khair. So as Mufti Saab mentioned earlier, that I will explain what sabaq and sabaqi and manzil, all of these things. So program structure, we have the following structure. Uh, First of all, we have sabaq. So what does sabaq mean? New memorization lesson for current day, zero mistakes allowed. So every day when the teacher give you new lesson, that's called the sabaq. And remember, it's important that only zero mistakes is allowed. So make sure to memorize to make it strong before reciting to the teacher. That's the sabaq. So what does sabaqi? Review of past 5 to 10 lessons, including just one mistake per quarter allowed. So the previous 5 to 10 days new lesson, when we combine it together, we call it sabaqi. And also the para in which you are, we call it sabaqi para. Remember one thing, that one mistake per quarter is allowed. So if you make more than one mistake, the teacher will tell you to make it strong, and it's important to notice is manzil. What does manzil is? Review of everything else aside from sabaqi, one mistake per quarter allowed. So everything other than sabaqi is called manzil. So for example, if you memorize 5 juz, 10 juz, and you are in 11 juz, so the remaining 10 juz is your manzil. And when you recite manzil to the teacher, one mistake per quarter is allowed, which means that four mistake in whole juz is allowed. What does nadira is? Reading of next day's lesson. Teacher has to recite and student has to read. Then student reads to the teacher while looking. So that's called nazira. For example, when at the end of the class, the teacher will give you new lesson, which is called nazira. So first the teacher will recite, the student will repeat after the teacher, and then the students will recite and the teacher will read. So that's the review of what does sabaq and sabaqi and manzil and nazira is. Mistakes are only one factor. Accuracy, pauses, speed, etc. may result in a student being unable to pass. It's not only mistakes that can then can make you fail. Other factors like accuracy, pauses, speed is these things also matters. So it's important to notice. Adjustments are made for students with specific difficulties. If some student has difficulties, so we can adjust for that, inshallah. So for Hifz class, what are necessary supplies? So computer Chromebook with high-speed internet, as Mufti Saab mentioned. Also Quran. Quran, why? Because sometimes the teacher will tell you to look at it, to mark the mistake. For that, the student need pencil as well. And Google Meet link will be primarily used for all the classes. So we will provide the Google Meet links to the students. Also, the students can visit the website. There will be the Google Meet links of all the teachers. So from which you can take classes with your teacher, inshallah. So estimated self-study time at each stage. So this is like you have given an estimate of how much you should memorize and how much you should recite. On the screen, we have a full table of it. So for example, up to one juz, 1 to 4 lines, you should take 1 to 4 lines new sabaq, which can take 10 minutes to 1 hour. Sabaqi should be like up to one juz, and the time can be from 10 minutes to 40 minutes. And there is no manzil because it's only the sabaqi. And so total time for self-revision will be like minimum 20 minutes, and maximum it should be 1 hour to 30 minutes. So as a student of Hifz, it's important you should give this much time to the revision, inshallah. So similarly, we have multiple, like we have multiple, uh, we have multiple data from 1 to 3 juz, like 2 to 7.5 lines, then 1 juz sabaqi, 1 juz manzil. Our total time for self-revision is 15 minutes, and you can see the whole chart, inshallah. So this is the whole chart, and Also, this is the chart for like if you memorize like from 10 to 15, how much new lesson you should take. It should be 12 lines, 1 point up to 1.5 pages, which can be like 22 or 23 lines. It can take like 45 minutes to 1.5 hours. Also, the sabaqi should be one juz plus half of previous juz. Okay, so this is very important. When you are reciting sabaqi, it should be one juz, the current juz in which you have the new lesson, and half of previous juz. So you should recite half of previous juz as well. And similarly, for manzil 1.5 2 juz, which can take 25 minutes. So minimum it can take 1 hour 40 minutes, and maximum it can take 2 hour to 25 minutes. And you can see the chart accordingly. Okay, so this one, estimated class time required at each stage. So this is the time that how much time uh, you should need for classes. While taking the interview, I know that some students they memorize different jurs. So this is the time that how much time you need. So for example, if you memorize up to one juz, 30 minutes per class. And if you're taking 3 days a week, that same 30 minutes. Similarly, if you memorize 1 to 3 juz, that 40 minutes, 1 hour per class, 40 minutes to 1 hour per class. And uh, if you're taking 5 days a week, then 30 minutes to 45 minutes per class. So these are the time required. You can see yourself that where you are, how much you have memorized, how much classes you are taking a week, and according to that, we have to give the time to the class, inshallah. So I think this is a full explanation. Okay, so Hifz examination system. So after specific JOs, like is mentioned at the slides, every student has to give the test. Okay, it's important. And what does test mean? That they have to recite to the teacher. So for example, if you if you memorize one JOs, so for the
Sorry, one moment. Allowing someone in, and I think it just undid the thing. Let me just quickly go to it, inshallah. Okay, there we go, inshallah.
Okay, so these are the tests. So you can see that number of ajza and second column, there is a code at first column, which denotes different categories. And second column, there is number of ajza, like 1, then 5, then 10. So after one juz, once you complete one juz, you have to give the test. Similarly, after 5 and 10 and 15, 20, 25, up to 30, you have to give the test. At the third column, there is number of days. So how much days you have to give the test. So for example, if you memorize one juz, you need 1 day to give the test. Similarly, at the fourth column, there is number of mistakes allowed. So you can see, for example, if you completed one juz and you are giving the test in one juice. So you need 1 day, and remember, one mistake per juice, one mistake per half juice, which means like two mistakes for all juice is allowed. If you make more than two mistakes, then you have to recite that particular juice again. That's very important. So for example, if you memorize five juice, you need 2 days for test, and similarly 1 per half juice mistake is allowed. Similarly, if you memorize 10, then you need 4 days, which means that you will recite 2.5 juice every day, and similarly one mistake per half juice allowed. Remember, if you exceed from the mistakes, like more than if you make more than two mistakes in one juice, the student has to recite that juice again, and that's very important. Similarly, like if you memorize 20 juz, you need 6 days to complete your test. And similarly, one mistake per half juz is allowed. So the teacher will also divide that how much you should decide to the teacher. The teacher will notice everything, that how many mistakes you've made, and based on that, the teacher will take the decision. But remember, if you exceed from the particular mistakes, then the particular juz will be recited again. So Hifz journey tips. These are some tips for Hifz journey, like how you should memorize. Because when I was teaching to the students, many students they asked me the question that what should be the method of memorizing the new sabak. So inshallah, we will teach you. Here we will explain how you can memorize the new lesson. So first, step number one is listen to audio recording and read with the recited at least 2 to 3 times. So when you are memorizing the new lesson, try listen to the reader who is reading. You can listen to a qari, any qari, and recite with him. When he is reciting, you can also recite with him 2 to 3 times. It will help you a lot. Read it alone. Read it alone until it's fluent. So when you recite with the reciter 3 times, after that you have to recite alone without listening to any qari. Now it's your turn to recite with yourself. Make sure that it's fluent, because when you recite it one time, it might be like weak. Then when you recite second time, it might be better. Then maybe at the third time it might be fluent. So that is step number two. First, read with the reciter. Second, read it alone. And the third, memorize it. So now it's fluent. Now you have to memorize it. How to memorize? You can memorize it in blocks, line, ayah, or backwards. Blocks mean you can divide a line into two. One line like inna allaha kana aliman hakima. Then there's another one. You when you memorize two, three, four blocks, then combine it. Similarly, the line, first memorize one, like for example, inna anzalna alayka alkitaba linnasi bilhaqq litahkum. You memorize one line, then go to the second line. When you memorize the second line, then combine these two lines. And similarly, if you memorize one ayah, you memorize one ayah, wastaghfirillah inna Allah kana ghafuran rahima, and then go to the next ayah, وَلَا تُجَادِلْ عَنِ الَّذِينَ يَقْتَانُونَ أَنفُسَهُم. Now, once you combine two ayah, then combine it. وَاسْتَغْفِرِ and the next ayah. Then goes to the next ayah and next ayah. Similarly, when you are memorizing the one by one ayah, join it together. One ayah, then second ayah, combine it. Then third ayah, combine it together. Then fourth ayah, combine it together. So inshallah, you will memorize. It will help you a lot in memorizing. And the fourth one is backwards. That's for some particular students that this method has been used in Turkey, where they are memorizing from backward direction. Like it's normally used for the students who who like who wants to memorize it. It's another method where you should memorize it from backward direction, like from the last ayah, then the second last ayah, then the third last ayah, and then it goes to the new lesson. Step number four, listen to audio recording and recite from memory with the reciter at least 2 to 3 times. Now you have to listen to that audio again, that Qari again. And when he is reciting, you should recite with him at the same time, but with your own memory. You shouldn't look to the Quran this time. The Qari is reciting, you are reciting with the Qari, but you're not looking to the Quran. You are reciting from your memory. So, inshallah, these are the tips. If you follow it, it's very important, it's very easy, and it will help you a lot to memorize the Quran, inshallah. The first one, listen to audio. Second one is read it alone until influence. Third one, memorize it in blocks. And fourth one is listen to the recording. So now a lot of students I've noticed they have like problem with the mistakes. So how to fix mistakes? Method number one, repeat that word until it's recited correctly. Repeat from 2 lines before until that word is consistently recite properly. Repeat from half of a page before until consistency. So you are making mistake in particular word. First recite that word correctly, right? فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي instead of you are making فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِيَ. So first recite that word correctly. Once you're sure that now it's correct, then go to the previous 2 lines from the beginning of another, from the beginning of same ayah, go to another line and then recite it. And similarly, you can go to the top of the page, like from the previous half page, and you can recite. So in this way, your mistake will be removed, inshallah. Method number two, listen to audio recordings of that ayah repeatedly and recite with it word and word. So this is the ayah in which you have mistake, listen to it and recite it again and again. You have mistake in particular ayah. Yeah, for example, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ, instead of you are saying إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهُ. And so what you do, you should listen to it and recite with the reciter. So ultimately your mistake will be removed, inshallah. Method number three, list mistake on a flashcard and regularly be tested by yourself or someone else throughout the day. So you should have a flashcards on which on one side you can write it the mistake that you are making, like for example, if it is mistake of fatha, if it is mistake of fathatin, on everything you can write, and on other side you can write the correct word. So every day, like you wake up or you are going to the bed, you can look at it and you can correct your mistake in this way as well, inshallah. Okay, so as earlier you have been sent an email about WhatsApp community. So inshallah we will be uploading uh, weekly tips for Hifz students, where we will be explaining how to do Hifz, how to memorize it. We will give you some tips how you should do it, how to remove your mistakes. So inshallah on weekly basis, every week we will provide uh, tips in our WhatsApp community. Make sure to join it, inshallah. The email has been sent, you can join it, and there every week we will provide a Hifz tips for an inspiration. There will be like, for example, this one, before commencing your Hifz journey, now that you will need to sacrifice time every day to prepare for what is to come. It will not be easy, but time management is key. So now you have to give the time for Hifz. Also, this is like another tip. Hifz tips, like the more time you allocate for memorizing and reviewing, the more you will obtain and retain by the will of Allah Ta'ala. So that's another tip. Inshallah, similarly, we will providing you multiple tips every week, inshallah.
All right, inshallah. So we've reached the final part of our program, our orientation, alhamdulillah. Before we continue and go through the final tips, then there'll be some personal tips I'm going to share, and then Hafez will share his final tips as well. Then we'll end off, inshallah. Before we do this, I want to just clarify a few things in case we didn't clarify it. So on that examination thing we mentioned, there'll be multiple exams. So just so everyone knows, the 10 juz, 20 juz, and 30 juz examination has to be done in person. So if someone actually gets to their 10th juz. So the 5 juz one, yes, you will do it from home, online with the teacher. But when you get to the 10 juz, you'll have to actually come to the institute to take the exam. For brothers, they'll have to actually come to CJIIS during one of our timings and take the exams there. For sisters, we'll have an alternate location for them, inshallah, and we'll communicate that accordingly. They don't have to come directly to the institute, but they will have to come specifically somewhere, inshallah. Same thing, 15 juz, you can do it with your teacher, but 20 juz, same thing, you have to come to the institute, and sisters will have the alternate location. 30 juz, same story again. Next thing is that when a student does finish, second thing I want to clarify was when a student finishes all 30 juz, before they take their final exam, there is a door period. That was on the exam guideline too. It said DWR. right? There's a door period, which means a revision period. So once a student finishes all 30 juz, the teacher will have them now go through a revision period, and they'll make them review the Quran until the student is ready to recite. He's ready for the final exam. The final exam is to recite 6 juz a day and finish the whole Quran in 5 days. It's very tough, right? But inshallah, it'll be easy. So after a student finishes all 30 juz, they go through this revision period where they must sit with the teacher, and the teacher has to be satisfied that, you know what, you're ready to take the final exam. So meaning that student will keep reviewing. It could take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, could take a year for that student to be fully ready to take the final exam. So no student is allowed to take the final exam unless the teacher has approved. The teacher has approved that, okay, he's now ready. Then only can they take the final exam. So no student can just say, okay, I want to take the exam. The teacher has to say, you take the exam. Last thing was that Hufaz, right? The Hufaz. For all the Hufaz, they will not have the 5, 15, and 25 juz exam. For all the Hufaz who are doing revision, you're gonna keep revising until you get to your 10th juz, and you're gonna have an exam at the 10th juz. Then you're gonna keep revising until you get to your 20th juz, and you'll have an exam at the 20th juz, and then you keep going to the 30th juz. There will be no 5, 15, or 25 juz exams for Hufaz specifically. For Hufaz specifically, they're doing revision. There are no 5, 15, or 25. Instead of having 6 exams, you only have 3. And same story with Hafaz. What do you call it? Once you finish, then the teacher has to be ready with you for everything. And the fourth thing that I wanted to clarify was that, inshallah, all the students who graduate through our program and actually finish the final exam, we have our annual Jalsa, our annual graduation ceremony. So you will, if you graduate through our program, even the guided Hifz program, then you will actually be participating in that as well. Meaning when we call students up to have their, for brothers, we have some of our elder teachers, senior ulama. They come and they wrap an imama on your head. You got a little plaque, you got a certificate. So all that we'll be doing for the guided Hifz students as well. They'll also be commemorated on the Jalsa ceremony on stage in front of everyone, that they became a Hafiz of the Quran. And for sisters, they have their own method and all that, inshallah. And one final thing, for any applicants that live a bit further away, they live very far. For now, if they live very like they're actually far, like like we're in New Jersey and they live in like Idaho or something like that. Yeah, we can make concessions for them for the in-person exams. We can possibly consider having them do the exams from home. But we'll probably put a few more strict procedures about where they're sitting, how they're sitting, and all of those things to make sure there's nothing around. Okay, so that's that. Finally, the last part. Some tips, right? So first I'll just share some tips myself, and then we'll have Hafiz there share some tips from his side, and then inshallah we will be done. So check. Okay, inshallah. All right. So I just wanted there. Alhamdulillah, we covered actually a lot of things already. So I'm just gonna share like just 2 things, and then we'll end off. I mean, that's the only tips I'll have, inshallah. Uh, Actually 3 things. Actually, I'll add 3 things actually. Number one, the first tip I would give to everyone who's in this program, and the parents who have their children in this program, they should hear this well as well. Number one thing is schedule is very, very important. Lack of sleep, going on too many extended vacations, bad diet habits like eating too much sugar, having an unorganized schedule. All of these things are very detrimental for Hifz. If you're having a hard time doing Hifz and you realize I'm not getting enough sleep, it's tough. Right? Just normally speaking, right? When we go to sleep, our brain consolidates all of our memories. Now, if you're trying to do the Hifz of the Quran, it's pure memory. It's like, some things are okay, more about understanding and connecting the dots. Quran is pure memory. And if you're not getting enough sleep, your memory is not being consolidated. You'll have a hard time every single class because you're not getting enough sleep. If you're going on too many vacations, Quran is about consistency. If you keep missing classes over and over and you're saying, oh, this is too hard, it's not hard. You're inconsistent. That's why it's hard. So if you're trying to do something, for example, if someone is trying to learn a certain art, a certain science, a certain thing, someone wants to become a doctor and they go to class once every month, what's going to happen? Right? You're going to forget everything. You're not going to know anything. Third thing, bad eating habits, right? Like, inshallah, you guys can Google it up, the effects that sugar has on our memory. right? It has a huge effect. So if you have bad eating habits, that can make it harder for you to memorize. And again, if your schedule is all over the place, so I tell students all the time, especially students that say, you know what, uh, I can't, what do you call it, do this thing, I can't do that thing, I can't accomplish this. I've told them, look, it's not a problem of I don't have time. There's no such thing as I don't have time because no one has time. Inna al-insana lafi khusr, right? Allah swears by time that everyone's in loss already, right? It's not, it's not about time, it's about priority, right? It's not about time, it's about priority. What is your priority? Right? If your priority is something, you will make time for it no matter what. It would not matter, you will make time for it. If something is not your priority, you will not make time for it. That's just how it works. So there will be someone who'll say, no, I don't have time to do this. And then when they look at their whole schedule, they realize that, oh, wait, I spent like 15 hours this week doing just fun stuff for myself, entertainment, scrolling on YouTube videos and playing video games. So yeah, you did have time. Your priority was just all over the place. So you got priorities is what matters, inshallah. Second thing I wanted to share was that so when it comes to Hifz, right? Not just Hifz, anything else, um, it's not always the best idea to focus on your final goal, right? It's not always the best thing to focus on your final goal. It's better to focus on the system you're going into itself. Meaning that, if you've memorized the last three surahs, you've memorized Surah Falaq, Surah Nas, what's our main thing we're trying to be, right? What's our identity you're trying to reach, right? You're not trying to say, oh, I wanna memorize Quran every day. That's not the main thing. Your thing is, I want to be a hafiz of the Quran, right? You want to adopt that identity into your life. You want to say that I am a hafiz of the Quran. You want to, and the hafiz of the Quran means you want to preserve the Quran. And someone added on, and this is kind of interconnected too. This plays into our niyyah, right? Our intentions. Right? إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّةِ. Allah Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, all actions are based on our intention. So our intention is to become a hafiz of the Quran, not for the sake of someone telling us, hey, mashallah, you're a hafiz. Hey, hafiz sahab lead tarawih, or oh, I want to I want to be a muallim or a muallima. I want to be the one that's called a hafiz or hafiza. And that's not our intention. But how Hufaz are people who preserve the Quran, right? They were preservers of the Quran. Throughout generations, different ulama, different people, they preserve this deen. And what's the best thing you could preserve is the Quran itself, the greatest gift given to mankind, right? Is the Quran. And you are trying to become the one who helps preserve the Quran. وَإِنَّ لَهُ لَحَافِظٌ, that ayah that was shared at the beginning. So your intention should be is that I want to become a part of this legacy of becoming people who are preserving the Quran so that I can be someone who will have a close status with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We all want taqarrub ila Allah. We all want to be close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you can't just say that I want to be close by being close. That's not how it works. You have to choose something you're doing in life that you can show Allah that this is why I'm trying to show you that I'm trying to gain closeness to you. One of the best ways is becoming a hafiz of the Quran. And you can go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, I memorized the entire Quran and I did it so I could gain closeness to you. So becoming a hafiz of the Quran is one of the best ways to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the sincerity in your intention. Because making an intention is great, but you need to show something, right? I can tell someone, oh, brother, I want to help you out. I'm there for you all the time. And now when his car breaks down, I just ignore him. That means your intention was false, right? It was just made up. But here, we're trying to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we want to be close to him. And one of the greatest ways to do that is becoming a hafiz of the Quran. That, ya Allah, to show you that I want to be close to you, I'm going to help preserve this Quran throughout my entire life for your sake. So getting back to the point, so if you've memorized just Surah Falaq, Surah Nas, and Surah Ikhlas, then you in your mind have this that that I have achieved being a hafiz of these three surahs. I'm trying to preserve these three surahs. If I finished the whole 30th juz, in my mind I should have it, and you know what? I've become a hafiz of the 30th juz, so I'm trying to preserve this 30th juz. So in all of these different ways, what we're trying to focus on is that what do you call it? That don't only focus on, okay, memorizing 30 juz, all of that stuff. Try to focus on the identity of being a hafiz of the Quran throughout time. So know what you're doing. You're not memorizing the Quran to literally memorize it. You're memorizing the Quran to preserve it. You're memorizing the Quran to preserve it. That's a big job. It's a very, very big job. So that requires consistency, proper memorization, and all the other aspects. And then getting back to the point that we need to focus on the system, not on the goal. Yes, inshallah, we all want to become a hafiz of all 30 juz, but focus on the system, right? Like focus on the system. Getting your sabak sabqi manzil done every day. That's the system. Right? Don't worry too much about long term. We should always focus on the steps, right? Focus on the steps. Don't focus on, like, if someone has to climb, sometimes inshallah, what do you call it? When I go on a hike, some hikes are long, right? Like when you look at the hike, you look forward, you don't know where it ends. And when you're in the hike, about 30 minutes later, you don't know, you can't see where the beginning is anymore. Now, if you just focus on the end and the beginning, you'll feel like you're lost. But if you know that, no, if I keep going down this path, I will reach the end of this path. And if I keep going, tracing my steps back, I will reach back to my car that's there in the beginning of the hike. You'll reach there. So focus on those steps. Don't keep looking at the end. That will make it harder for you. Focus on completing the steps, and eventually, you will reach the end. One person was asking, how can we ensure, inshallah, to have we'll have a question and answer session. We'll have a class in our niyyah throughout this Hifz journey. Again, I tell people that to have a class in anything, very simple. Just make your intention that I'm trying to do whatever will get me the highest level in Jannah. And then automatically your intention is going to be for whatever brings you closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, in Hifz is very easy, right? In Hifz, your intention is that I want to be one of those people that help preserve the Quran for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. That I want to help protect this Quran, right? I want to help protect this Quran. That's your intention on the back of your mind. I want to protect this Quran. Hypothetically, if the entire Quran was removed from this entire earth, I want to be the one who can get this Quran back, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, that was the second thing. The last thing I wanted to share was that one very, very important thing. Again, this is not only for Hifz, this is for anything. This is for anything that the only way to succeed in anything in life, doesn't matter what it is, whatever occupation, especially in Hifz too, is that you have to learn how to what do you call it? There's a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he in there mentions that you need to learn how to fall in love with boredom, right? You have to learn how to fall in love with boredom. And meaning anyone can work hard when they're actually motivated, but the question is, how well can you handle boredom and all the downtimes, right? The times you don't want to do it. I don't want to memorize. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to class. I don't want to wake up early to go to class. I'm tired in the evening. I don't want to attend class. Oh, I am busy today. Oh, I have to, for the sisters, I have to cook this today. We have to go here today. There's this and that happening. How well can you handle doing Quran during those times? That's the question. Because anyone who's successful, right? Anyone who's successful, it doesn't matter if we're talking about Hufaz or otherwise. We could be talking about athletes, trainers, businessmen. The main thing about them was that every single one of them have times where they face boredom and they face situations where they don't want to do what they're doing. And it happens in every type of activity, including Hifz. So people who are professionals in something that became successful in any field at all, that was because they stick to their schedules no matter what, and they never let life get in their way. That is how they did it, right? No matter what happened, there might be times they feel down, they feel out, they feel tired, they feel exhausted, they feel bored, they don't want to do it, but they know that they have to focus on these steps. As long as they do it, they will reach their goal. So in Hifz, it's the same thing, right? It's very easy to, do things when you're hyper motivated, right? But keep in mind, majority of the times, you will not be hyper motivated. There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Longer hadith, I'll just go to the end of it. It's in the Musnad Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, and in many other books of hadith, like Sahih ibn Khuzaymah, Sahih ibn Hibban, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Sayyidina Abdullah bin Amr radiyallahu anh that لِكُلِّ عَمَلٍ شِرَّةٍ وَلِكُلِّ شِرَّةٍ فَتْرَةٍ. Right? He said for every action you do in life, right? It will have a shirrah, right? It'll have a time where you're fully motivated and into it. And وَلِكُلِّ شِرَّةٍ فَتْرَةٍ. And for every single time you're really motivated to do everything, there'll also be times where there'll be fatra, where you don't really want to do it, you get exhausted, you don't want to do that thing. Then Rasulullah said, فَمَنْ كَانَتْ فَطْرَتُهُ إِلَى سُنَّتِي فَقَدْ اهْتَدَى. Right, that after that time comes where you're not motivated, right, during that time of non-motivation, if someone still ends up sticking to my sunnah, despite not being motivated at all, right? Despite not wanting to do the tahajjud at that time because you're tired, despite the fact that you don't want to read Quran right now because you're exhausted. Whoever sticks to it, فَقَدْ اهْتَدَى, then that person will be guided, will be rightly guided. وَمَنْ كَانَتْ فَطْرَتُهُ إِلَى غَيْرِ ذَلِكَ, and whoever at that time when they're non-motivated, they feel like, you know what, let me not do it, right? You don't follow what you're supposed to be doing. فَقَدْ هَلَكَ, that person will be destroyed. So it's in every aspect, right? That's hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that's how Hifz works as well. That if you want to stay into anything, you have to make sure that times of boredom, times of exhaustion, times when you're not feeling it, you stick to it, right? You stick to it, right? Because if you, as long as you keep telling yourself, I'm tired today, I'm exhausted today, I'm bored, ask yourself about everything else. I don't know, many of us might be, all the adults might be professionals. Do you ever say that to yourself when you're going to college? Do you ever say that to yourself when you have to go 9 to 5 to work every single day? Do you ever say that to yourself when you have to go do shopping? Do you ever say that to yourself when you have to, go anywhere at all where, you need? So again, it's a priority thing, right? It's a priority. We don't every other day say that, we don't always say, oh, you know what, like, oh, today, I'm kind of tired. Let me just skip out on work. No one says that, right? You don't say that. You just say, no, I have to work. Right? I have to work. For children too. Do the children sometimes wake up in the day and tell their parents, I'm kind of tired today, so I'm going to skip school today? No, you say, no, you go, right? What do you mean you can't skip school? They go regardless. If we're able to pull off 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours of something every single day consistently, then again, we can pull off a few hours of Hifz once, twice, or 3 times a week. But it's priorities, right? Priorities. Treat it, unfortunately, like I don't want to say it like this, but I'll have to say it. At least treat your Hifz like a secular thing, right? At least treat it like a job or a school, right? At least treat it like that, right? At least minimum, right? The same priority level. The way I wouldn't leave that, I wouldn't leave this. If you're gonna at least do that, then we'll be, inshallah, a bit consistent. There's some questions coming in. Inshallah, we'll do the questions afterwards so that we don't, I don't want to spend too much time, so that people who need to leave can leave, inshallah. Okay. So that's all from my end. I'll just have, in case Hafiz Uzair has any tips he can share now too, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Mufti Sahib. Alhamdulillah, you have mentioned everything about Hifz and the importance and everything related to it. Was amazing. Alhamdulillah, it was so in detail. Only one thing that you said, and I was so happy when I heard that make it priority. Once you make it priority, remember memorizing Quran is so easy. I have students who are just 8 and 6 years old and they memorize more than 10 juz. And I can guarantee that they can recite full juz even without making a mistake. Why? Because they make their Quran and Hifz priority. So please make it priority. Give it time. At the same time, I have other students, and when they tell me like, "Oh, teacher, I cannot take class today because I have to go for my football match." So that's amazing to listen when you say like this. So important thing is to make it priority. Give it time. Quran is so easy. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. It's so easy, inshallah. But the important thing is that if you give it time, if you love it, if your intention is to memorize and preserve it. Mufti Saab mentioned that to preserve it, it's important. It's, as a Muslim, it's our responsibility, inshallah. When I was my madrasa, we had a small kid, and in Quran there was like a tiny mistake of maybe fatha, and he recognized to the teacher. So that's what a hafiz is. We as a hafiz and you as a hafiz has to memorize Quran and then preserve it. So inshallah, please make it priority. Everyone can become hafiz. When I was conducting the interviews, many students, they told me that it's difficult for us. It's weak. We don't have time. So Mufti Saab mentioned that. If you give 1 and 2 hours, it's like everyone can give 1 to 2 hours to Hifz, inshallah, every day. Make it a habit. When you're going everywhere, like you're driving in a car, you're walking, make it a habit of reciting. And once you start reciting, it will be your habit, and inshallah, you will become Hafiz. Everyone can become a Hafiz. I met with lots of parents and they said that we want our kids to be Hafiz. They were so excited. They showed a lot of interest. So for that case, I want to tell you that please be Hafiz. And it's so easy, be consistent, and inshallah, I'm sure soon you will be Hafiz al-Quran, inshallah. Ji Mufti sir.
Inshallah, I believe. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So we've reached the end of the program. Jazakallah khairan for everyone for attending. It was a bit long, but Alhamdulillah, we supposed to be till 12:10, but Alhamdulillah, we did pretty well. Okay, now we'll just quickly take a few. I can't. I'm sorry, I cannot say that we're gonna be able to answer all questions, especially. Please and keep it related to Hifz or something related to the guided Hifz program. This is not the time to ask about zakah related questions or something out of that. So I'll just answer a few and then I'll ask Hafiz Uzair Sab if he wants to answer a few. If anyone has anything to ask about the administrative or something related to the Muntazim Sabaqat, let me know and I can answer that too, inshallah. So one question here. So I think it'll be easier if everyone just writes out their questions in the actual what do you call it in the chat. That'll be easier. So one thing I was discussing, I'll just continue it here. Someone was asking how to conquer burnout. So burnout, so here's how it works, right? So it doesn't, so priority and consistency does not mean that you do everything nonstop. So yes, even for Hifz, even for your job, even for anything, you need little times in the middle where you take a break. So what do you call it? So you need to, but the main thing is have it scheduled, right? Have it scheduled. People who normally get burned out is because they haven't figured out their schedule properly. A part of your schedule has to be relaxation time, right? A part of your schedule has to be relaxation time, but it has to be scheduled. It has to be scheduled. Your relaxation time has to be part of a schedule. Your work time has to be part of a schedule. If you don't have a schedule, no, you're gonna have two problems. Number one, you don't even know how much relaxation time you have. Right? That's problem number one, right? And number two is you're gonna throw it in random places which don't make sense. You know, see, if you can see, if you had a schedule, you could see, okay, I did these things. Okay, these are pretty heavy. Okay, after this, I need to throw in my relaxation time. These things here, oh, they're pretty relaxed. When I do these, I'm fine. I'm good. And then after that, okay, maybe I need a less of a relaxation time. So put it into the proper places. If you don't have a schedule, it's possible you're putting in a relaxation time after a very easy activity. And after the heavy activity, you're not relaxing at all. So if you have a schedule of what you have to do, plus what do you call it? The times you have to actually relax and put it all together, you will see that, mashallah, you'll have you actually have a lot of time available to you throughout the week. And you'll actually see that, you can actually mess with it now. Like it's like your life goes under your control once you make it schedule. A lot of our senior ulama would highly recommend what do you call it? And yeah, someone mentioned, inshallah, may Allah give us hidayah and stamina. I mean, yes, and there are people that are 80 plus who they started their Hifz after they were 80. Right? They started their Hifz after they were 80. And alhamdulillah, they finished. That's possible for sure. What are the days of the classes? Is it per student basis? Yes, the lead will be communicating with you regarding that. I believe it's in the number one, there's a plan you sign up for. Is it 1 day, 1 or 2 days, or this other plan was 2, 3 days, 3 to 4 days. The other plan was 5 or 6 days, whichever one you signed up for, according to that, the lead is. And then in that application form, you put in the timings you're available and which days you're available, according to whatever you put in the application. The application had it. Which times are you available? Which days are you available? How many days are you going to do? That was part of the application because we're going to assign everything based on that. Based on that, we'll assign you all your timings and all that stuff. So it is per student basis. Will this presentation be sent to us? Yeah, right now it's being streamed to YouTube. And so I'll just send everyone the link right after, inshallah. So after this presentation is done, well, inshallah, we'll just send a link. Maybe we'll communicate it in our WhatsApp community. That'll be easier, actually. So in the WhatsApp community we have, we'll just share the presentation link there, inshallah. It'll be on YouTube, inshallah, and you can just see the whole thing on your own, inshallah. If someone missed it or missed parts of it, or I saw some people were having internet connections, they kept joining in and out, in and out. We'll share the YouTube link and then you can join through there. Okay, inshallah. If there are no further questions, then we'll end off, inshallah. Okay, so jazakumullah khairan for everyone coming here. Alhamdulillah, it's nice to see that many people were Alhamdulillah, they have motivation to become a hafiz of the Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for us all. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the istiqamah and the steadfastness we need. And more importantly, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only allow us to read the Quran, but may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to act on every single part of the Quran in accordance with the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.